All right, and then Den of Thieves. That's gonna be the last one we talk about. Well, we're gonna kill it with Den of Thieves now. You watched the first half. I did not watch the first half.
Yeah, I did.
So
I did watch.
Did you watch the first Den of Thieves though?
No.
Okay, so Den of Thieves, the original, I heard wasn't good.
Really?
Or maybe I read wrong, but people are saying this one was better than the original.
Interesting.
So that's what I've heard, and that's what I've read on reviews. Den of Thieves 2, something Pantera, or I think it's just Den of Thieves 2 Pantera.
Yeah.
I think that's all it is.
Yeah.
Tell me about the first half a little bit so I can kind of really... Do you think that like helped the movie experience a lot? Or obviously it does.
Yeah,
Watching
for sure. There's a lot of things that I didn't understand because we missed the first half. And also it brought with it some gripes too. But to wrap it up quickly, the officer is essentially like a joke because he let Ice Cube Jr. get away. Yep. You know what I mean? And so he made it a real big point in his career to like try and catch this guy because he's the only guy that ever got one over on him. Yeah. You know what I mean? So then, fast forward, Ice Cube steals that Ice Cube Jr. steals that pink gem.
The pink gem.
Yeah. Which happens to be a mafia leader's gem.
Yes.
So that's where the mafia comes in.
I love it. Okay.
At the end. Cool. Okay. So he has a suspicion that it's Ice Cube Jr. who takes part of this, right? Which, by the way, too, right? Like this is supposed to be a crazy ensemble of thieves and everything like that. They literally they get found twice in the movie. You know what I mean? Like their identity gets discovered twice in the movie, which makes you feel like, all right, like either the government is trash, or these people must be like amazing at their job. Anyway, so he finds Ice Cube Jr., right? And mind you, he's like, again, he's a joke at his job, thinking about retiring. Then he goes to the Paris division, and they don't take him seriously either. But they don't like each other in general. So he finds Ice Cube Jr. and he's like, listen, I'm tired of being a laughingstock. I want to join. Like you guys are gonna steal whatever you're gonna steal. I want to be a part of it too, right? And that's where I kind of start to fall apart for me because like spoilers. They all end up getting caught in the end. They get double crossed by the officer.
By the officer.
Insane to me that nobody keeps tabs on this guy. Nobody ever thinks to give this guy false information at any point in time. He literally goes he goes out with them one night and they trust him. Yeah. Versus when you first get introduced to Ice Cube Jr. and the rest of the team, they hate him more than they hated the cop. Insane to me. So that was one of the things that I did not like about the movie, where it's like, okay, bro, like you got a cop with you and you never thought to have any sort of contingencies at all for like the fact that he made
these are supposed to be some of the best criminals in the entire world.
Yeah, in the world.
They just
they failed to plan for that.
So trusting of, mind you, criminals and thieves don't trust anyone. Yeah. They barely trust themselves. Yeah. You're gonna really sit here and tell me they're gonna trust a fucking cop just because one night he was like, "Hey, can I steal with you guys?"
Yeah, literally, bro. This
guy slid to the table. He's like, "What are we doing?"
Yeah,
and they're like, "Oh, check it out."
That's essentially how it went down.
And so I will say my biggest thing watching the film was the cop isn't that good of an actor.
You don't think so?
Okay, let me rephrase that then. The actor himself, he's good. The cop in the film is not that good.
Yeah.
He's not that good at like concealing this shit. Dude. Yeah. When they go to the Paris or wherever, I think it was Paris, yeah.
It's
Paris.
It's the diamond. It's like the world's largest diamond vault or something like that. Yeah.
When they go there and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the cop," and this and that. He can't lie, right? He can't. He's not very like. No one. I wouldn't trust that guy. I wouldn't be like, okay, he's for sure. Right. On anyone's part, I wouldn't trust him from the bank vault. Like, this guy's sketchy as hell. Yeah. And then also the team, like, yo, bro, get your shit together. You said you want to be on this team. We're supposed to trust you. Yeah. What's going on here? And so. I don't know. To me, it's like, I didn't like that. The action in this film, though, murdered. I loved every action. The car racing, the Fast and Furious shit they were doing, bro. Insane. The scenery of, like, the mountains and the where they're racing, the changing of cars, the shooting, the actual gunfights, all that.
The camera work,
incredible.
The camera work also was really good, by the way, because I could tell what was going on the entire time. Yeah. It didn't do one of those things where it switched back and forth between cameras and POV too much. Like it was all very cohesive. I enjoyed
super
that.
Suspenseful in the actual act of them stealing.
Yeah.
When they were in the big heist for the diamond, it was super suspenseful.
Yeah.
Where they were like 90 seconds, and then they would cut down, and now I know for a fact it wasn't 90 seconds.
Yeah,
it would be like 90 seconds, 20, 19.
Yeah.
But regardless, it was super suspenseful, and all those were always like, just made it. At one point, I got annoyed. I was like, okay, you could have made that with plenty of time. But I get it. It's a movie. So that's fine. Regardless, though, like, there were some really good things in that film. I think it dragged on too long, even though I only watched the second half. That's a long film, in my opinion.
It is a long film, yeah.
What, 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
2.5 hours is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They could have cut a lot of the garbage out. And to me, like, everything went perfectly for them. Almost the entire heist film planning, all that. The only thing that didn't go perfect for them was the cop.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, so that was that was one of the other things that you miss when you don't see the beginning of the movie, where it's like, okay, so he's getting initiated essentially, right? So they're trying to warm him up to the rest of the crew. They go out to the club. He gets high. It's hilarious.
Right.
That whole scene right there, hilarious as hell to me. It's super funny. And again, really dumb. So remember after they rob the bank, there's like this one group that tries to shoot them down before they make the drop off to the mafia. All right, that guy used to date the only girl in the crew, and obviously him and the cop, or her and the cop, had a thing.
Yes,
that's why he left. That's why he left. So he sees that they're vibing. They get into a fist fight. So the cop and Ice Cube Jr. get into a fight with that guy and like his friend.
Yeah.
They leave. They don't want to be part of the heist anymore, and their plan is essentially to rob the people who are robbing. Yeah. To rob the robbers.
Rob the robbers.
Yeah. Again, dumbest thing in the world. They like, you don't even know where they go until he like meets up with like this other crew, and they get guns, and you're like, oh, okay, so I guess they're gonna. Yeah. He's in the phone for like another 10 minutes while they're driving, and then he just dies. What? Pointless. Super pointless. Like,
they could have cut out a lot of.
Yeah, didn't care for any of that. But regardless, it was cool for what it was, because that whole chase scene was super
so cool. Entertaining. And honestly, you know what's so funny? I saw a review say this. This is such a dad film. I think any and every dad will love this film. Okay. I think any and every dad will just be like, yo, that shit was wrong. And
yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see that.
It had action. It had all the suspense. It had, thieves and outsmarting people and drinking and partying and sports. It has sports in there.
Yeah. There's the
game for like
the football, the soccer games, match or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, no.
So, okay. So you said this was your favorite film so far of the month.
Yeah.
What would you give Den of Thieves?
I give it 8.5.
So Den of Thieves 2, 8.5?
Yeah.
So I gave it an 8.
You give it an 8?
I gave it an 8.
Yeah. You didn't see the beginning.
I didn't see the beginning. So I'm gonna trust you then. I'm gonna trust you.
Yeah. I gave it 8.5. I was pleasantly surprised. The first half of the film really captured me. And I didn't fall asleep the second time watching it. And yeah, like again, I remember watching it like so confused about like what was going on. Like when we came in that first time and they were on the beach, like the mafia had just grabbed them up and they were like, listen, they left them out in the middle of the ocean. They was like, you gotta get my diamond back. Yeah. And that was what that was. And they was swimming back to the shore from out in the middle of the ocean.
Wow. Okay.
So that's what that whole thing was.
Maybe I'll have to rewatch it then and see. But okay, so then Den of Thieves 2, Pantera, we give an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm cool with 8.5. Yeah.
Okay.
I like it a lot.
I can live with that rating.